Okay, I guess I'm going to try and make an Ethernet cable. I had a box of Cat 5e Ethernet just laying around and I needed some cables, so I thought I'd make them. Well, alright, maybe I'll make a video out of it in case somebody else is crazy like me and likes to just do stuff on their own. So, what you'll need is your Ethernet cable that I've got. An RJ45 jack. I don't have anything fancy like those little rubber boots, but we're just going to use this. And a crimping tool. So this one's got our RJ45 crimp on there. And I don't have the little thinger that'll cut the sheath off, so I'm just going to use scissors and be really careful. So if you're going to do this, you just got to kind of work your scissors around and be really, really careful with it that you don't cut into the wires. If you do, just snip it off and then try again. So I like to have about this much length right here. So I'm just going to work this around a few times, depending on how sharp your scissors are. Just a few times will do it. Just kind of check it from time to time. Almost there. This is going to be the boring part of the video as I try to cut through this without getting the twisted wires inside. Alright, there we go. See, we got a little bit of a break there. So, let's see if I nicked any. Should be able to just pull them apart now. And everything looks good in there. I don't see any nicks. Alright, now when you get your wires out, you can organize your wires in the connector a couple different ways. There's some different standards. There's T568A, which as I understand it to be is the old standard. And then there's T568B, which is the newer standard. And you can use either one. The important thing to know is that if you do 568A on one end, make sure you do 568A on the other end, or else it's just not going to work for you. I use B because it's the newer one. If you read online, some people might say that it offers better like power protection, blah, 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 stuff like that. I think they'll probably all work just about the same. Let me get this little tail off here. Oh, get there. But yeah, I don't think there's much difference at all. But I just kind of like, well, if B is the newer one, then I guess we'll go with that. I think I read somewhere that there's some compatibility issues with some really old stuff. If you got stuff really old, then you're in trouble. That old. Everything nowadays should be newer, so I don't think you will have a problem with the B standard. All right, with these twisted pairs, when you are organizing them for the B standard, it's always going to go stripe solid, stripe solid, stripe solid. And the only weird one is the green one. The green one kind of surrounds blue. So we start with orange, then we go green, blues, and then the green, and then the browns. All right, so you'll see how this works. So the biggest thing to remember here is to keep these wires as straight as possible because we're going to line them all up. So our very first one is going to be orange stripe, which is here. And then we've got orange solid right next to it. So we just kind of start lining them up, right? All right, now we start with our green. Like I said, this one's kind of weird because it surrounds blue. So we'll have a green stripe, just like this. If you got your fingernails a little longer like mine is, it makes it a little easier to straighten these wires. And so we've got orange stripe, we've got orange solid, we've got a green stripe, and now let's get our blues out. Untwist these. All right, and so our last one was a stripe, so we definitely got to go solid here. So we've got solid blue, and then we've got blue stripe right after that. Remember, straight as possible. That's the key. All right. Now we've got our solid green to surround our blue. Just like that there. These ones are trying to fight for position here. Gonna make them fall in line. There we go. All right. And now, last but not least, is we've got the brown twisted. So let's untwist those. Let's get our little stripey there. Let's see if we didn't mess everything up. Okay. So now let's just check everything over. We've got orange stripe. We've got orange solid. We've got green stripe. We've got blue solid. We've got blue stripe. We've got green solid. We've got brown stripe, and we've got brown solid. All right, so now that we've got everything set, you can see after we've untwisted, we've got different lengths at the ends. So I like to give it a little trim so that they all get to the same lengths. So let's just cut those off. Just like that. Looks very nice and neat. Now we're going to throw them into our connector. All right. So you can see how they go in. Here's our orientation and our pins, and they should just slide in. Just make sure nothing changes as they're going in. Push them nice and snug, just like that. And before we crimp, you can look through our little window there. Hopefully it's focusing for you. And you know, we can make sure that our colors are all exactly how they should be. And I think they look pretty good. So this one's going to go nicely. And now we're going to get our crimp tool. And on our crimp tool, one end's like a blocked opening, so the port can't go through. And the other one end's a little bit bigger. So we want to shove it in the bigger end all the way down to the hilt. Now we're going to crimp it down. We're going to squeeze as hard as we can. There we go. And I usually use my finger to push it back out so you're not really tugging on the wire. And then there you have it. If you are going to use one of those little rubber protectors, make sure you get that on before you crimp, or it's going to be a problem. But that's basically it. And you can whip these out pretty quick. I've got the other end to do, and then just test your cable and make sure it works. So, all right.